In April 2021, the AstraZeneca vaccine was restricted to the over 30s in the UK, and the following month to the over 40s, because younger adults were thought to be at greater risk of the clots.
The decision
which has been taken is to suspend as a precaution vaccinating with the AstraZeneca vaccine.
By contrast, in mid-March, several European countries stopped using the AstraZeneca vaccine while the clots issue was investigated. When they restarted the programme, France restricted it to the over 55s, the Prime Minister getting his first dose live on TV in an effort to reassure the public the jab was safe. Germany, Italy and the Irish Republic limited it to the over 60s. Denmark halted its use altogether. Lisa Shaw, a presenter at BBC Radio Newcastle, got the AstraZeneca vaccine on the 29th of April 2021. She was 44. Her son Zach was 6. Like Jane Wrigley, she suffered VIT blood clots in her brain.
She started to mix up her words and not be able to find certain words for certain things. Lots of specialists and doctors started to kind of mill around at that point. She was taken for a CT scan. She was in quite a lot of pain, and they discovered a bleed on her brain, quite a significant bleed on her brain, and she was transferred into the high dependency unit. And that was the last time I spoke to Lisa.
Lisa had emergency brain surgery, but died 3 weeks after she was immunised.
Yeah, so this is a picture that Zach had drawn for his mum that we took into hospital when she was in hospital, and can't wait to see you this week. Get well soon, love from Zach.
And he wasn't allowed into the hospital because of COVID?
That's right, yeah. At the same time as well, it wasn't really an environment that I would want him to be in.
Lisa's husband Gareth is bringing up their son Zach, now 9, on his own.
So after 14 months...
He applied to the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme, a government body set up to give financial support to those injured by vaccines.
At the time when I filled it in, I thought it was going to be a fairly straightforward process.
This involved a review of Lisa's medical records. Her cause of death was given as complications of the AstraZeneca vaccine. But despite clear evidence, it took 14 months for Gareth to be awarded a payment of £120,000.
It's insulting. My wife died. She died because she took the product that the government told her to get, and they believe that £120,000 is what makes up for that loss, that my son will go through the rest of his life without a mum.
The fixed one-off payment of £120,000 for vaccine damage hasn't increased since 2007. If it had risen with inflation, it would now be almost £200,000. From 2000, there were an average of 2 successful claims a year under the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme. Post-COVID, there have been 188, all but a handful for the AstraZeneca vaccine. A further 253 people were told that although the vaccine was responsible for their injuries, they didn't meet the threshold of 60% disability and so get nothing. Of nearly 16,000 COVID vaccine claimants, around half have yet to be notified of the outcome. A group of around 50 families injured or bereaved due to VIT blood clots are trying to sue AstraZeneca for compensation. The claim is being made under the Consumer Protection Act and argues that the vaccine was not as safe as people were entitled to expect. Their lawyer says they've been driven to it because of the failings of the VDPS.
So I'd say that the scheme offers too little, too late to too few people. It offers too little because £120,000 is woefully inadequate. So those who have applied are waiting a really long time, and that's massively stressful, financially but also emotionally. And we'd say as well that it's offering money to too few people because there is this bar that you have to meet. You have to show that you're 60% disabled before you get anything at all.
She says the impact on those denied a payout can be devastating.
It was absolutely heartbreaking for them. You know, these are people who have suffered these very significant consequences. They've made an application. They've been told on paper that the vaccine has caused their injury, and yet they're being told they're not disabled enough. If you have been left with one eye and you've suffered significant psychiatric damage and you cannot go back to work and you cannot care for your own children in the way that you did before you were vaccinated, and you are being told that you are not disabled enough to receive a statutory award, imagine how that makes you feel.